When it comes to smartwatches from Wear OS, there's a whole list of variety to choose from nowadays, and it makes it hard to kind of find the one that's right for you. Hi, I'm Omar from O-Rated, and today I have one of the best smartwatches from Wear OS in the market today, and that is the Tic Watch Pro 3 GPS. Let's dive in right after this. Now this is what the box looks like for the Tic Watch Pro 3 GPS. As you guys can see, it's got the watch on the front, it's got the Mobway logo on the top right, on the bottom it says the name Tic Watch Pro 3 GPS. Now on the sides it doesn't have anything, and then on the back it just has basic information about the watch. And then on the bottom of the box it does have basic information here as well. So here it shows what's inside the box. And then here it just has basic information like the model number, the color, etc. Now when you open it, take this off, pop it off. So inside, as you guys can see, it's got the Tic Watch Pro 3 quick guide, just a little quick guide through the watch. Take this sucker out. And then you take this off and you get another little booklet here. It's product safety information and a little slip here, and also because I have a customer care card. And then inside physically you get the watch, and then you also get a charging dock cable, and this is what it looks like for the Tic Watch Pro 3. You guys can see here. Now for the previous generation, for the Tic Watch Pro 2020, it was a bulky charging cable, where this one is nice and slick, and basically it's a clip-on magnetic. Now first off, let's start with the price, which everyone wants to know. So basically in Canada, this bad boy right here starts off at $3.99 plus tax. And if you're an Amazon user, as you guys probably know already, I love Amazon. So on Amazon, I always see it on sale occasionally for different events. So a lot of times I've seen it for $40 off. So if you ever see it on there, that's definitely a great bargain if you're looking to get the Tic Watch Pro 3 GPS. Now when you first do get the watch started, you will have to download the Wear OS app on your phone and then connect the watch through that. And then as you can see, it's done, and basically this is what the screen looks like after it is connected, and then it shows on the watch it's finishing pairing up. And then there also is a Mobway app as well which you can connect to. Show you guys right here how the app looks like. So this is basically what the app looks like here. And yeah, so you have both those apps that you can connect to for the Tic Watch Pro 3 GPS. Now when it comes to the size of the watch, it's 47 by 48 by 12.2 millimeters. And the screen has a beautiful AMOLED display resolution of 454 by 454. As you guys can see right here, it's super bright, super clear. And the watch has a stainless steel bezel, and on the sides mainly plastic, on the back is plastic as well, with the heart rate monitor. And then it has two buttons on the right side. And now for the weight of the watch, this is a pretty light watch. It's only 41.9 grams. And then so for the watch bands, these are not the original watch bands that it comes with. I just have them swapped out. So here are the original ones. And the original ones, although they look like leather, they are not leather. They're silicone. They're actually really comfortable. And the size of the watch band is 22 millimeters. And the cool part is you can have any third-party bands and just have them swapped out like I did here. Of course, if they're 22 millimeters. And now for the color of the Tic Watch Pro 3 GPS, it only comes in shadow black, which I don't mind because I am really a fan of the shadow black color. And I think it looks very sleek. And I'll show you a comparison here of last year's model with the Tic Watch Pro 2020. As you guys can see, it looks very similar, but this watch is a lot lighter and it looks more sleek. And you can see the difference in the back. So this on the back is all stainless steel, where this is plastic. And the bands are different as well. So this one, so as I said, this is all silicone. This one, it's more so leather on top, and with the bottom that's silicone, which I find I did really like a lot, because then it looked, you know, more so premium on the outside, and then on the bottom it was silicone, so it was still really good for working out because it wasn't pure leather. Now, as you guys may have noticed, so the cool thing that I really love about the Tic Watch Pro series is they have the dual screen display. So when the actual, you know, AMOLED display isn't on, this is basically a power saver screen, and it's got the dual display, so basically it shows the watch, the date up there, and you know, there's steps, the seconds, and then the battery life. And this is the reason why you can get away with a lot of battery life for this. Although it does have a bigger battery as well, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, this is a cool thing about the Tic Watch Pro series, and it has the dual screen display, which helps great with battery life, especially if you're not using your watch a lot. You don't have to have this AMOLED display screen always on. This will help save battery life. Now, going through the interface of the watch, basically if you tap the top right button once, it takes you to the home screen, and if you tap it again, it's going to take you through all the apps. So you got a lot of the Tic Watch apps as well from Mobway, like the Tic Exercise, Tic Pulse, Tic Sleep, Tic Oxygen, etc. And then you also have a lot of the Google Fit apps as well, because this is a Wear OS device. So you got, you know, the Google Pay, Fit Goals, Fit Breath, and etc. So now if you tap the button again, top right, it's going to take you back to the home screen. Now if you tap the bottom right button, it'll take you to Tic Exercise, and you can change the setting of the buttons as well to whatever you want, but I have it this way, and this is how it came, and I just like how it is already. Now if you press it again, back button, back to home screen, and now if you scroll down, you're going to see the basic settings, you know, airplane mode, pay, silent mode, brightness, etc. And on the top right here, you also have the setting button. Tap that, you can go into more settings like connectivity, sound, display, storage system, personalization, and etc. And if you go back, now if you swipe right, it's going to take you to your Google Assistant, and you know, you can go through there, you can ask Google anything you want. Usually always has a code as well from Google, which is pretty cool. Now the one thing for me, which I've noticed, I can't get, you know, Google to talk back to me for some reason. I've turned OK Google on, I've done everything, but I know that was one of the complaints that I've gotten from people that I've seen in the forums as well, and they had the same issue. So just so you guys are aware, I can't turn it on. Maybe you can on your device, but for some reason for me, it keeps glitching. But yeah, so let's move on. Now this watch does have a built-in mic on the right side, you can see right here, and on the left it has a speaker, so it's, you know, you can answer your calls directly on the watch, which is fantastic. Just in case you misplace your phone, you can't find it, and it's still in range, then you can have the Bluetooth call right on the watch, which is convenient until you find your phone, or just have it on the watch, etc., because you don't want to use your phone. Now to change the watch faces, all you got to do is when you're on the home screen, just hold down to the middle, and it's a variety to choose from that are already built in. As you can see here, see more, and these are the ones that are already built in the device. You can also see this in the Wear OS app. So there's a decent amount. That's all you can also do if you want more. So as you can see here, so as you guys can see here, it says get more faces. So this will take you to the Google Play Store, and you can always download more. Some of them you have to pay for, some of them you don't. Or you could also, like, this is what I do, I got the Facer Watch app. When you have this, you can pay, I can't remember how much the subscription is for the year, but you pay that and you have unlimited amount of watch faces, different ones, like you can get lots of like Marvel ones, and, you know, Star Wars, etc. So that's also another option as well. Otherwise, you can just go through the Google Play Store, and there's other ones you can download as well. Now, a really cool thing about the Tic Watch Pro 3 GPS in particular, it's got the all-new 4100 Snapdragon chipset. Now, with this chipset, The experience is way better in my opinion. Everything's a lot faster. It's a lot snappier, as you guys can see. And with this, I have no complaints. It's worked fantastic. And I'll list the memory over here as well. So it's pretty good memory, and like I said, it works great. I haven't had any, I've had a few little lags, but it's nothing major. That happens with like every watch I've had, even like the Samsung Galaxy Watch 3. I still get some lags here and there, but for the most part, it's pretty snappy. Now, another improvement that the Tic Watch Pro 3 has from the previous generation with the Tic Watch Pro 2020 is the battery capacity. So now the battery is increased to now it's 577 milliamp battery. So you can get about 3 days. Now it just depends how you use the device. I've gotten 3 days, but I like to use my device a little bit more with the texting, replying back, all that stuff, going through different faces, because I'm never satisfied with which watch face I have, so I always want to change it, and etc. So I get about like 2 days, 2.5, depending. So it just depends on how you use the device. But roughly in smartwatch mode, you'll get about 72 hours. And then in essential mode, you can turn your watch in essential mode so it can make it last a lot longer. You're gonna get about 45 days. Now, obviously, right in the name, Tic Watch Pro 3 GPS, this does have GPS and it works really well. I find that it's pretty accurate. And this is also what I would relate to the battery life, because the more you're using the GPS, the faster it'll kill your battery life. And I go on a lot of walks with my dog, so that's what really drains my battery life. As you guys can see right here, he's poking his head right through. But yeah. Now, the Tic Watch Pro 3 GPS does include NFC as well. So with that being said, it does have Google Pay. Now, the only thing annoying about Google Pay is that when you do use it, you have to set up a password on the watch. And what happens is sometimes, at least for me, I had to set in the password multiple times, because you're supposed to only set it when you take the watch off and put the watch back on your wrist. But I've had it where I've had it on my wrist and I still have to do it. And that was one of the complaints in the forums that I've seen as well, because it's not supposed to do that. It's only supposed to ask you once when you take it off and put it back on. Now, the Tic Watch Pro 3 GPS is water and dust resistant as well. It's got an IP68 rating, and it's suitable for pool swimming as well, so you're not gonna have any issues. I can't swim, so I haven't tested that part out, but I have worn it in the shower multiple times, and I have gotten it wet and soaked it in water, and it's been working just fine, so you're gonna have no issues. And some of the other added features that the watch has, it has an accelerometer, it's got a barometer, and it's also got a gyroscope. Now let's get into the health features of the watch. Now it's got a 24-hour heart rate monitor. So getting into that, you have different interfaces as well for it. So you have, all the Tic Watch apps for it. So you got the Tic Pulse, and you can also use the Google Wear OS apps as well. So you got the Google heart rate monitor as well. Okay, so it works pretty well, but this is also when I first got the watch. When I first got the watch, the heart rate monitor was working and then it stopped, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. And I went back and forth. I had to reset the watch, then it would work, then it would stop working. And then as it went on, as time went by, more updates happened, so it worked better, and I thought the issue was gone. But I'm still having issues here and there, even with the new updates, so it just depends. And from what I've noticed, the Tic Pulse is a lot better than the Google Wear OS heart rate monitor. And for the Google Wear OS one, for the heart rate, it's a little slow, in my opinion. It just kind of, it'll kind of load. And then, like I said, sometimes it'll just randomly stop working. And a lot of times when that happens, I have to reset the watch, or I'll turn it on and off. It just depends. But for heart rate monitoring, I like the Tic Pulse a little bit better. So the watch also does have SpO2 tracking, and you can also set that to 24-hour automatic tracking as well. And at least on this device, it says it's 24-hour tracking automatic, but it'll track once for every hour. And obviously if that's on as well, that's going to lead to a little bit more draining for battery life, especially with the heart rate monitoring on as well. Just so you guys are aware of that. Now, this time around, when it comes to sleep monitoring, you actually have the app already built in, where before you had the Tic Sleep app with the Tic Watch Pro 2020, but you actually had to download it. It wasn't already built in. Okay, this is my experience with it. It's been pretty good when it works. Like I said, same thing. So obviously if your heart monitor isn't working, you can't really, have sleep tracking. So I've had the same thing where it's good for a few days and then it stops working. Like I said, I either have to reset it or, turn it on and off, and depending if it'll work. So it's a hit and miss. Mind you, it is a lot better still than the Tic Watch Pro 2020 series. When I downloaded the app, it rarely worked. And if it did, what I noticed was it'll say if from 12 to 1 I sleep and I wake up to go to the washroom, for example, sometimes it would only track that hour and then not track after. So with the Tic Watch Pro 3, it's been pretty good when it does work. So say if that happens, it does track the sleep after as well. So it is an improvement in sleep tracking when it decides to work. So at least that's my experience with it. Like I said, different devices, you can have different issues, but that's the issues I've been having. Otherwise, when it does decide to work, it's not bad. It breaks down the sleep in different levels as well. So it's a nice feature to have. It's nice to show that layout as well. Now, I do use both the apps from the Google Play and the Tic Watch apps. Just for Tic Pulse, that's the heart rate monitor I usually use, just because I find the one for the Google is a little bit slow, so it lags. So for just that, I just use a Tic Pulse. But for the rest of the apps, I go back and forth. I like both. I do, for the majority, use the Tic ones, just habit. But I do go back and forth as well. They both work well. It's a good integration to have, especially if you really like the Google Wear OS integration. So it just depends, and it's all personal choice. Now, getting into the fitness features, this is a fitness watch as well, and it does fitness tracking really well. I haven't had any issues with that. So I got a lot of walks with my dog, like I said, and it tracks everything from pace, your heart rate, etc. And also in the end, it shows a map as well. But I've used it for working out as well, doing weights, hitting the bag for boxing, kickboxing, etc. And I find it works really well. And then I just want to show you guys, so in the beginning when you get the watch, like I said, you turn it on, you have to connect to the Wear OS app. So I'll just show you the Wear OS app right over here. And then as you guys can see, there's not much information on it. So when you connect to that, then you can connect to the Mobway app, and then you have the Tic Health. You have more in depth of all your health information there, your sleep tracking, SpO2 level, etc. And then so now you have the Google Fit. So if you're using all the Wear OS Google Fit apps just for tracking your workouts, you also have to download Google Fit as well. And I can show you they got that right here as well. So you have that, and then like I said, it shows all the stuff from Google Fit that you have, and then it has that separate from the Mobway app with the Tic Health. So yeah, it's a little bit inconvenient, but like I said, you have options. So that part is kind of cool if you have options, but I just wish it kind of went hand in hand with each other. And now I just want to let you guys know the benefit of using the Google Fit app for tracking your workouts. So for Tic Exercise, the workouts are already built in, so there's only 13 of them. And so if you use the Google Fit, there's way more workouts to choose from, more than 13. So that is one of the benefits if you don't see it already pre-existing on the Tic Exercise. So just keep that in mind, because there are more exercises with the Wear OS. So now I want to get to the things that I didn't like about the watch, and then I'll get into what I did like about the watch. So what I didn't like about the watch, like I said, it was a little bit glitchy for me. Like I said, when I got it first in the beginning, I was having a lot of issues, especially with the heart rate sensor and the SpO2. It would sometimes work and sometimes didn't. And I'm hoping that eventually gets fixed with future updates. But as of still now, I'm still having issues. And they just had an update, and I really thought it was fixed. And then I had an issue the other day as well. So, I hope that gets fixed and resolved, because otherwise, if it's working fine, I have no complaints about it whatsoever. And also like the Google Assistant, I could not get it to speak back to me, and I've heard other people in the forums as well, same complaint. I have it all on, you know, I don't know why it doesn't work, but it doesn't work. And Google Pay as well, I didn't like putting in the password multiple times. It was a nuisance to me. It might not be to you guys, but just, you know, I get tired of kind of putting in my password multiple times just to use my watch, and I don't want to go through that all the time. Now, I also don't like how, you know, the two integrations with the Mobway apps with Tic Health, and then you have Google Fit. Like I said, don't like how it's all separated. So I wish, say if you use Google Fit, anything that it tracks, it would kind of carry over to Tic Health as well. But it doesn't, you know, it's just, I don't know. I wish it did. It would make things a lot easier. Because say if one time you try the Tic Health app and you use Tic Exercise to track your workouts, for example, and then you go to Google Fit and use one of the Google Fit workouts, it's nice to, you know, not go separate apps back and forth to see what you did here. You know, it's just a little bit of a hassle. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but you know, it is what it is. And with sleep tracking, although it is better, like I said, if the heart rate monitor isn't working properly, then the sleep tracking won't be the best either. So like I said, it goes back and forth. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. But obviously if it's working, it does pretty well. I've had it here and there where it was tracking where I knew I was awake. I was just laying down, kind of just, you know, resting, and it counted that for sleep as well for a little bit. And that hasn't happened too often from what I've noticed. So most part, it's pretty much on the money, but here and there I've had that happen as well. So it just depends. But like I said, that just depends on the heart rate sensor as well. If it's working, it's usually not bad. So little complaint there, but nothing that can't be fixed eventually, hopefully with an update. Now, what I do like about the watch, I love the design of the watch. I love how sleek it is. I love, you know, the increase in battery life, especially with Wear OS, right? A lot of them don't have, you know, a great battery life. Just by top of the head, thinking of the 5th generation for the Fossil watch, I had that and it literally wouldn't even last a day. It literally reminded me of like an Apple Watch, and you know, I can't imagine getting a watch that doesn't even last a day. So that being said, the huge battery increase is nice. If I really want, I can make the watch last for 3 days, but how I use it, like I said, depends. So 2 days is still good for me. I love that now it's got an SpO2 sensor. It's nice to have, and you know, the heart rate sensor, when it works, it's fantastic. I like how the sleep tracking's improved. Yeah, on the previous generation, like I said, you had to download the app, where this one already has it built in the watch. And it tracks a lot better too, obviously with, you know, improved heart rate sensor and more diodes in the back as well. So that's a nice little upgrade. I also like the small charging clip as well. Before it was bulky for the 2020 Tic Watch Pro. So it is nice to have a smaller little cable, so then, you know, it's easier to carry. Not that it's a huge hassle whatsoever, but just nice that it's a little bit smaller, a little more discreet. And then I also really love the GPS on the Tic Watch Pro 3. I find it's pretty accurate, and it does the job, you know, pretty well. And after, like I said, if you do like a walk, where I walk a lot with my dog, it also shows you like a little map as well, and it'll show your pace and all the breakdown of your information with speed and etc. So that's pretty cool. And it's also pretty quick as well. So when I first started up, say start a workout for walking, for example, within the 10 seconds, usually 10, 15 sometimes, depending, because sometimes I'll still be inside. So if you're inside, it's gonna take a lot longer for the signal to connect. So if you're outside, it's a lot faster, but usually I'm like right at the door and I start it. So within 10 to 15 seconds, usually it connects and you can go from there. And now I absolutely love the dual screen. That's really got me interested in the Tic Watch Pro series. I just love that you have the dual screen with low power saving, because, you know, let's be honest, Wear OS watches, they aren't the best for battery life. Like I said, on top of my head, I can think of the Generation 5 Fossil watch, and that was horrible. So with Wear OS, that's not, you know, something positive. But with this, like I said, increased battery life, and with the dual screen added, it saves a lot more battery life for you, so you don't have to keep charging it, you know, every day if you don't want, kind of thing. And especially with Wear OS watches, if you're gonna leave the always on display on, then it's gonna drain the battery even more. So with the dual screen, that always stays on. It's a low battery saving screen. So I absolutely love the idea. And like I said, that's what got me attracted to it. And that's the reason why I continue to love the Tic Watch Pro series, is because I absolutely love the dual screen display. What I also really like about the Tic Watch Pro 3 GPS is calling and text messaging, and it's really simple. So when you need to get to your text, you can either use the mic, here's the emojis, and then here you have a keyboard. You press that, you can use that to type as well, whatever you prefer. So it's nice options there. So now, my opinion on if this is the best Wear OS watch, I honestly believe it is, especially with the new chipset. It's much faster, it's all, snappier, all the extra features it has added on, etc. I think works fantastic, and I really love the integration with all the Google Fit apps and etc. and the Google Pay. So Wear OS wise, it's fantastic. And finally, we have a Wear OS watch that has a decent battery life, so that's always a good thing as well. But with that being said, everything has to work, right? So I said in the beginning, there was a lot of issues that I had as well. And in the forums, I've seen a lot of people have the same issues. So obviously, if your device isn't working properly, you might have some issues. But with all that being said, if everything's working and everything's 100% and you're not having any issues, I honestly do believe this is the best Wear OS watch out to date right now for 2021. Now, I do really love it. I love wearing it. I love the dual screen. I think it looks sleek. I just wished everything worked properly. I didn't have that many glitches. But like I said, that could eventually be gone and done with. It just depends on the updates, and it always is getting updates as well. So hopefully, another few updates, and I don't have any issues with it at all. So knock on wood. So that's it for my review on the Tic Watch Pro 3 GPS. Hit me down in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think, if you're gonna get it, if you already have it, or anything else you want to know about it. I can message you back and let you know. I'm Omar from All Rated. I'll catch you next time. Peace.